And that's where I want to welcome in my first guest, Vice Chairman of the Republican Party of Florida, Christian Ziegler. Christian, great to see you.
John, always great to talk with you. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, my pleasure, Christian. So, as a Floridian, I had many criticisms of the previous leadership at the Republican Party of Florida. I didn't think they served the president as well as they should. I thought they were more self-beholden and were more worried about enriching themselves politically with political capital. The chairman, there's a new regime in the party. Yourself as vice chairman, Joe Gruters, who was an unwavering Trump supporter, is the new chairman. So tell me a little bit about what the RPOF, Republican Party of Florida, is going to be doing differently as we head into the 2020 election season.
Well, as you mentioned, in January, middle of January, we brought in new leadership. So we have a new chairman, Joe Gruters, who was Donald Trump's state chairman in 2016. I came on as vice chairman. I did work closely with the Trump campaign throughout 2016. I'm a West Wing surrogate now, very close with the White House. I really respect what they've done. I'm excited what they've done. And when you look at the Republican Party of Florida as a whole, it's interesting. Obviously, during the 2016 election and the primaries, we had Marco Rubio running and Jeb Bush running, two leaders in the history of Florida. But Donald Trump carried the state, 66 out of 67 counties. The energy is clearly with Donald Trump. And our job in the leadership roles that we're at with the state party is to infuse that excitement and that energy behind the president and that support behind the president, because that's where the base is, and really bring it into the party to make sure that we're, moving forward towards 2020 and even farther than 2020 with excitement, energy, supporting the Trump agenda and doing everything we can to deliver victory for him.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought it. So we have Senator Rick Scott now, and he was a popular two-term governor. We have Marco Rubio. He's a powerful brand unto himself. So it's always been my belief, I could be wrong, it's always been my belief that as we enter a presidential election year, those state parties really need to throw the bulk of their resources behind the presidential candidate for the simple reason that Rick Scott, two-term governor, has an infrastructure in Florida. This is his state. Marco Rubio, our senior senator now, has an infrastructure in Florida, power base in Miami-Dade County. Is the Republican Party of Florida going to follow that trend? Are they going to really focus on the re-election of Donald Trump in 2020 above all else?
We are. That's the number one goal. Everything that we're focused on for the next 2 years is really headed up by focusing on Donald Trump, making sure he wins re-election. Like you mentioned at the top of the show, Florida is a key swing state. You can't win the presidency as a Republican without winning the state of Florida. We delivered in 2016. We better deliver in 2020. I feel good about it. But we are focused on Donald Trump's reelection. There's really two core things that we're looking at right now, and that's Trump's reelection in 2020. And right now we have a new governor that's doing a great job with Governor Ron DeSantis, and we're there to support and promote him. But then also, support and promote the president as we go towards 2020.
Christian, one of the criticisms the GOP takes nationwide at every level, even at the precinct level, the lowest level of party activism, is outreach to minority communities. What is the new leadership at the Republican Party of Florida going to do to change that? Because I think it's not an indictment of Florida or Ohio or Pennsylvania. I think it's been lacking in the Republican Party in every state. Encouragingly, Donald Trump did incredibly well among African-American voters and Hispanic voters in Florida back in 2016. What are you going to do to build on that?
Well, look, when we're talking about minority outreach, really the Republican Party has a lot of work to do. Our brand, this is a brand issue. And when we come to the table, really, we're delivering for the minorities. We're delivering for low income. But I don't know if we're getting the word out there as much. And some of the policies that we champion, specifically at the state level, you look at school choice. Right. Those are issues that connect with minorities, connect with low income. And I don't know if we get the credit that we deserve because we're not. And it's really shame on us for not messaging that out there. But I think you look at Ron DeSantis. Look, we just had an election in 2018. He did a great job of messaging that, really standing up for it. There was a big contrast between himself and Andrew Gillum, and Ron DeSantis rode the school choice right into the governor's mansion. I believe that's what delivered victory for him. And it's our job as the Republican Party to make sure our values and our principles and our policies are clearly shared with the electorate. I think Donald Trump's doing a great job. Look at African-American, Hispanic unemployment, record lows, women unemployment lowest in like 60, 70 years, something like that. And it's our job, but we can do a great job while we're in office, but we got to communicate that. And that's what really the Republican Party of Florida, that's our task. And that's our goal, is to communicate that to the voters.
The economy, right? We have always said for years, for decades, it's the economy, stupid. I mean, if you have peace and prosperity, which we have, That's an election winner. But I had to drive last week from, and I put a tweet up about it the other day. Actually, it was over the weekend. I had to drive from the southern end of Miami-Dade County up to southern Palm Beach County. And as we know, a lot of traffic in South Florida. You get on and off I-95. So I was weaving through Hispanic areas and black areas and white areas. And I was shocked at how many businesses, Christian, had "we're hiring" and "help wanted" signs. I don't think I've seen that in, it's got to be 10, 12 years. I've been a Florida resident 15 years. The economy in Florida, South Florida, is doing incredibly well. We're coming out of season, and these businesses still need employees to service the customers, the business. That has to matter. That has to be a big part of the messaging, right?
It has to. Look, for the first time, we have more jobs than people looking for work in the history of our country. That's phenomenal under Donald Trump's leadership in the state of Florida. We've had over, I think it's 1.5 million jobs under Rick Scott's term as governor. That's why he's the U.S. senator. You take care of the economy, you take care of the voters. People really, the first thing they care about, I mean, it's interesting. You turn on Fox News or any of these other channels, you can watch your show, and we talk about all these issues: immigration, foreign affairs, all this other stuff. But really, it comes down to people want to make sure that they can put food on the table, a roof over their family first, and that's what they care about. And I think the Republican Party, through empowering, individuals, propping up business owners to make sure they can employ people, we have the right policies, taking more money, putting it in your pocket, because we believe you can spend it more or better than the government can. And as long as we continue to do that, I think people will reward Republican candidates with elections. So we just need to be, focused on that pro-business policies. They're going to, be pro-jobs policies, really.
Kristen, I've said, as long as I've been on air, I've said no matter where you stand politically, no matter who you vote for, at the end of the day, to pretty much every American, it comes down to three core issues: money, safety, and family, right? Do I have a good job? Am I able to provide? Do we live in a good neighborhood? Are we going to be attacked by terrorists? And is my family taken care of? Are my kids happy? Are they in a good school? Are we going to Disney World this year? And I truly believe the Democrats don't have strong points on any of that. They want to take more of your money for social programs. They want to allow MS-13 gang members into this country unrestricted, and they want post-birth abortion. They want to kill babies on steel surgical tables. I just don't understand what's going on over on the other side of the aisle.
Well, you're exactly right. When it comes down to it, it's money in your own pocket, safety, and your family. And the Democrats are totally striking out, as you mentioned. I can't tell you how many Democrats continually reach out to me, whether it's through email, calling me, stopping me on the street, and, state that, look, I've been a Democrat my entire life. Specifically, a lot of Democrats in the South were, fiscal conservatives, but pro-family conservatives. And they say,
pro-Second Amendment.
Pro-Second Amendment, pro-family, pro-life. But they voted with Democrats. I never really understood it, but they did. But I think the Democrats have finally gone out of their way through these extreme congressmen and women in Congress to showcase just how far left they're willing to go to try to shore up their base. And the farther left they go, the more people in the middle they're turning off. And there's so many Democrats that are flipping over and saying, look, I like what Donald Trump's doing. I have more of my own money. I feel safe. He's advocating for America first. And he's defending the unborn. And these Democrats are just too extreme for me. And that's what I'm hearing. We're getting a lot of people crossing over, voting Republican. And really, it's making my job easier. But it is a shame to see where the Democrat Party has gone.
Yeah, look, I travel quite a bit, and I travel around Florida quite a bit as well. I like to be out on the water. I'm a shooter. I go out, I hunt. I've met those Democrats, those blue dog Democrats, but like you say, that on a social level, they're pretty conservative people. They voted Democrat because they perceived it as the party of working people, but they went to church on Sunday, and they believe in life and the Second Amendment and personal responsibility. I just can't see these people, especially in a state like Florida, voting for the party of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, and Bernie Sanders. I just don't see them doing it.
No, you're exactly right. And what really doesn't go talked about, because it's more of a local issue, is when you look around the state of Florida in the past couple of years, we've had over, I think, a dozen counties flip from Democrat majority registered to Republican majority registered. I just got a phone call from another county. We have an entire cabinet that's going to be flipping basically in our constitutional officer slate inside a county that is flipping their registration from Democrat to Republican. People are fleeing the Democrat Party, and they have no one else but to blame but themselves because they've been so extreme and so outrageous and so outspokenly extreme with their policies. I mean, it used to be back in the day, the Democrat Party, maybe they supported abortion, but it's not something they wanted to talk about publicly. And now you have, Virginia and New York advocating for late-term abortions, and then other politicians around the country celebrating that. It's really dangerous. It's embarrassing. It's a shame, but I think you're exactly right. I don't know how these Southern Democrats can look at the Democrat Party and say, that's my party, that's who I'm going to vote for.
All right, real quick, because we have about 30, 40 seconds left. One of the things, if I were a Democrat, I'd be terrified of is a number that came out right after Trump's State of the Union. 82% of independents liked the president's vision in that speech. 82% of independents. Florida, we have a big population of independents and NPAs, non-party affiliated. 30 seconds. How are you going to be messaging to them to get them to vote Republican?
Well, I think we're very fortunate. We have Ron DeSantis in the governor's mansion right now. He's taking some issues that are really winning over a lot of NPAs. You look at water quality, that's the top issue in the state right now. That's something everyone's talking about, and he's championing. And I think Donald Trump will be there right with Governor DeSantis, digging that reservoir and helping our state. But when you talk low taxes, more freedom, everything else, they're right in line. And that's what MPAs care about. They want an America First governor. They want an America First president. And that's what attracts them to Donald Trump.
Christian Ziegler, Vice Chairman of the Republican Party of Florida. And a big congratulations to you. You're a new dad, beautiful baby girl.
Thank you so much, John. Yeah, she's about 5 days old now, so I'm very fortunate.
Outstanding. Christian, thanks. Always good to see you.
Thank you so much.